Okay, welcome. This is Tammy Golden, also known as the Beauty CEO, and we are live with this training. We're waiting for a few people to get on, but I am recording it, so you will be able to catch it later. And this is a complimentary training that I'm doing based around my book, Charge Your Worth. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a licensed cosmetologist first of 26 years, and I'm also an author. Um, and an educator. So I share in many areas hair colors and things of that nature. But today my focus is based around the book, which is Charge Your Worth. And I wrote that book about 3 years ago, and it's Entrepreneur's Guide to Creating value product or service. In the beauty industry, it's mostly service that we're struggling to create value for, to be properly compensated for. So I wrote the book about 3 years ago, excuse me, and recently I revised the book, just based on, experiences and more information that I um, felt led to give or to add to the book, so that I could continue to inspire and motivate others to find a value in their service and charge their worth. Okay, so let's just jump right into what this training is about. This is a complimentary training, so it's brief. I could go on and on and on, for hours talking about this type of stuff because this is my language, and I actually love, um, you know what I have to share. I'm actually in the middle of a coworker who's reading my book for the first time. She's just reading and she's texting me every time she gets an aha moment, and she just texted me earlier saying your book is right on time. Um, she's going through a season and she feel like she's being tested. So that is why I wrote the book, and that is why I share, and that's why I do this class. So what we're going to talk about today is, one, getting clarity on your rate per hour. First of all, what is your rate per hour? Do you even currently know your rate per hour? What is your profit zone? A lot of us don't have any guidelines for our profit zone or what we plan to, have as our increase daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. And then what are our action steps? What are the things that we need to do to create value or to communicate value for our services? I find when I'm talking to stylists who tell me that they're not happy with their pricing, they know they're undercharging and they know they're giving great service and value, but they have failed to communicate the level of service and the level of value that they, bring into the marketplace. And we're going to talk about that, okay? So first of all, I'm actually going to share my screen because I have a slideshow presentation. Um, I can turn my camera on for a quick second. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So I'm at work doing this, training, actually in the salon because I get the best Wi-Fi here, But I've just tried to do this from home a couple of times, and I don't get. It's just not as strong as I need it to be. So whenever I'm doing a training, I come up to the salon. So let's see. I'm going to share my screen. Share. Okay, I'm actually going to make it a slideshow. So yeah. Okay, so here we go. So this is my quick introduction. I've already done that. We're going to talk about charging your worth. And basically, what is a charge? The charge is, the price that we ask for the goods or services that we provide. We ask people to pay us with money. Sometimes we barter, but you want to get paid in cash because cash is the universal, tender for being compensated. I mean, you can get paid for, doing your services with peanuts, but you can't go to the bank with peanuts and put them in the bank. It just doesn't work like that. They don't mean anything to the bank. Money is the universal tender. It's the universal way we're compensated, and it's how, people pay you for your services and products. It's how you go and pay for your lifestyle, your, living expenses, your travel, your, anything that you want to do. So our goal is to get paid in money. There is times when we give back, we do charity and things of that nature, but our number one goal is to get paid in money. And how do we create that value? And what is that value about? That value is about the experience that our client has, or that we offer to our client, and the expertise that we have in our marketplace, in our um, in our field of service, whether you're a barber stylist, makeup artist, or whatever it is you do, paint cars, whatever it is you do. It's about the level of expertise and the type of solutions that we offer our clients. We're in, people want results. People come in, I got dry scalp, they're looking for a solution. And if you're trained properly, and you have the experience, you know what to offer that person for their dry scalp. If someone's coming in and they're complaining about hair loss, etc., if you're trained properly and you have the experience with hair loss, then you can offer the solution for that problem. Okay, so let's jump right into our rate per hour. And our rate per hour, this is a formula that I learned. This is a formula that I learned about well over 10 years ago, about 12, 15 years ago, when I took some advanced training that I paid a lot of money for. It was several weeks of training, and then an entire weekend I spent with this lady. And that weekend forever changed my life, because once the light bulb came on about my numbers, there was no reason that I could go back to what I was doing, because I didn't know. Now that I knew, the light bulb popped on. It really changed the way I looked at my business and what set of lenses I looked at my business with. So let's talk about your rate per hour. Your rate per hour, and you're probably saying, well, I don't have a rate per hour. I'm self-employed. I go to work, I do a haircut, people pay me. You really should be taking into consideration your time and how much time it costs you to, or how much time it takes you to perform that service. Because as a business person, you should have your hourly rate or your services priced around how long it takes you to do it, how much product it takes you to use, and how great you are, the value that you offer. So if you don't take time into consideration, you really should add that into the equation. And I'll give you a quick example. Your rate per hour is, get my calculator. Your rate per hour is the service price. So if you're watching this, get your calculator and pause it for a second and get your calculator, or use your phone, and it's your service price. So let's say you charge $15 to cut hair, and it takes you an hour. So we're going to use that time in minutes. So in minutes, 1 hour is 60. So we're going to take 15 divided by 60. And whatever that number gives you, you're going to multiply it times 60. And basically that's saying that you get $15 an hour for a haircut. Let's say you were charging $30 for a haircut, and it only took you 30 minutes to do a haircut. So let's take 30 divided by 30, because that's how long it's taking us in minutes. Whatever that number is, times 60. Now your rate per hour is $60 an hour. If you can cut 2 heads in an hour, that's 30 minutes twice, at $30, your rate is now $60 an hour. Now, let's say your haircut was, I'm gonna use my neighbor for example. My neighbor's haircut is $90. Let's divide that by, it takes her 30 minutes to do a cut. And I'm gonna multiply that time, whatever that number is, times 60. And we got 180. So if she can do a $90 haircut in 30 minutes and she can do 2 an hour, her rate per hour is now $180 per hour. Okay. Let's go a step further. So I have some examples here that I've already put up, and I use this when I teach in my classes. So let's say you charge $60 for a press and curl, or silk out, blowout, or whatever you do. This is for stylists, $60, and it takes you 2 hours. So 2 hours is 120 minutes, okay? Because you're going to do this price of the service divided by the time it takes you to do the service in minutes. And let's see. Oh my God, I don't see the link. Okay, I have some people trying to get on, but I've already sent out. Let me hold on one second. Let me see if I can text her the link to. Here we go. Okay. So let's say you're here and your, like I said, your silk out, blowout, press and curl, silk press is $60 and it takes you 2 hours, which is 120 minutes. You're going to divide 60 by 120. That's going to give you 0.5. And you're going to multiply 0.5 times 60. And that's going to show you that your rate per hour is $30 an hour. Okay. If that's your base service. Let's say you charge $100 for your silk press, or let's say it's a relaxer service and it takes you 2 hours. You're going to divide 100 by 120. It's going to give you 0.83. You're going to multiply times 60. It's going to let you know your rate per hour is $50 an hour. Okay. It's 25. Let's say you cut hair and you charge $25 for a haircut. Takes you an hour. You divide 60 seconds by 25, or 25 by 60 seconds. You get 0.41 times 60. You're at about $25 an hour. And then let's say the bottom one. Let's say you do extensions, and you charge. Let's say you charge $350, and it takes you. What did I put? 18. 3 times 6. 3 hours. So that's 180 minutes that it takes you to do this weave. So you divide 350 by 180 equals 1.94 times 60. Your rate per hour is $116 per hour. Okay, so do you get where I'm going here? So you want to take your numbers and plug your numbers into, this formula. So what is your top service that you offer, your bread and butter service? Like 80% of the time you're booked for this one service. And that's going to give you your rate per hour. Now the question is, does your rate per hour serve your bottom line? Does your rate per hour serve your bottom line? And you're probably saying, well, what's my bottom line? What is your bottom line? That's the question. What is your bottom line? Who do we have on? I see we have 2 viewers. I only see one. Welcome to the video. But what is your bottom line? What do you expect to get out of going to work every day? And what do you expect to get out at the end of the day? And I know it's not just well, if I can pay my car note and my booth rent and take care of a few things, I'll be okay. And I want us as stylists, as professionals, to get out of that mindset and to get more focused into having bigger goals than just week to week to week. I think the whole booth rent module has us kind of, working from week to week, when we should be working for way much bigger goals than that. So let me go back to the slideshow, and I want to share something with you. Bear with me a second. So I just want you to keep those numbers in your head. And I'm going to share a quick little story with you really quick. One of the reasons I got turned on to, or I sought extra training, I was really looking for help, high and low, because I was just getting to a point in my career where I wasn't feeling fulfilled. And I knew I was doing good work, but I just still felt like there was something missing, or I needed more, and I didn't know how to go about doing that. About 2009, probably about 7 or 8 years into my career, I was experiencing back problems for quite a while, but I was working through them, ignoring the pain, going to work, doing my clients. I can just get to the weekend, I could rest, take my medicine, and get back to work the next week. And to make a long story short, I finally one day ended up I had to start going to the hospital because my back would hurt so bad that I had to start getting shots for the pain. And one day the doctor told me I was getting Demerol, and the doctor told me, I can't keep giving you Demerol. I need you to go see the specialist and get some x-rays so we can see what's going on with your back. So I went to the doctor. I did all these MRIs and tests and things of this nature. And what came back was, actually the doctor called me and he says, I don't have your pictures yet. I just have your written report, what the computer typed out. And based on what I'm reading, you're going to have surgery. And I was a little blown back because I said, well, I got 3 clients at work waiting for me to come in. So can we schedule this another time? Because I got to get to work. And he said, no, you don't understand. I haven't seen your pictures yet. But based on this report, you have a 13 millimeter herniated disc. And I didn't know what that meant. And he said, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 13. And he says, I don't know why you're not paralyzed. I don't know how, but you need to get off of your feet and you need to, we need to pre-op you and get you ready to have this surgery like in the next couple of days. So I was, freaking out. And I'm still worried about getting back to work, some of my clients, because I knew these people had somewhere to go. 2 of the ladies that were waiting for me, they were going to Vegas for this big birthday weekend. And, against his advice, instead of going home, I went to work. I said, well, let me go wrap up these last couple of heads. Why? Because 1, they needed me. 2, because what else? I needed the money. So I went to work. And as I'm working, I'm kind of in a daze because I'm still trying to process what this man has told me. I got to have surgery. And so I'm doing my work, going through the motions. I'm talking. I'm letting my clients know what's going on. They're really focused on getting to Vegas, getting to where they're trying to go. And I remember the client had mentioned to me, and I write about this in my book, so you can read more on this story in the book. But I just want to share it for those who haven't read the book. She's getting a relaxer, and I remember I had a last appointment. She's, this Vegas trip was really big to her, and she, needed her color. She gets the relaxer. Of course, all the semi-permanent comes out, so it's time for another one. So I says, oh, we're doing your color today, right? And she goes, well, I've been spending money. I've been getting ready for Vegas, and how much is it going to be? And this was years ago, so I would not charge this now. But I think I said it was $25. And her response was, oh, girl, $25. I just bought a pair of jeans. I still haven't got the sweater to match. And, I'm still trying to get my outfit together for Vegas. So unless you're going to do it for free, no, I'm not going to be getting the color today. So that kind of rung a bell in my head because I was like, wow, okay. So I said, okay. So I proceeded to neutralize her and shampoo her, condition her. And since she wasn't getting the color, she can go on under the dryer and get dry and we can finish her hair. And she gave me this look. She says, and you're really not going to give me the color? And I looked at her, I said, I'm really not going to give you the color. I says, you're getting ready to go to Vegas to put money into the machine. She expressed she needed to have money to gamble. I said, you're going to put money into the machine and not get a guarantee that you're going to get your money back when I'm offering you what you asked for, a color, and I'm going to guarantee you that I'm going to give you that color. So you've decided that you don't want the color. I didn't decide for you. You decided. So once I continued to work that day, did the last 3 people, went home, worked. And as I was home recovering, I had the surgery. As I was home recovering from the surgery, I realized I was going through my prices. And I realized I'm not charging what I'm worth. And I'm pacifying a lot of people at my own expense. And so I made a decision that during the time I was off, I survived off of love gifts and donations and things that people had given me. And I'm very grateful for that. But I made a personal vow to myself that if God could sustain me while I was off work with no pay, that I could truly go back to work and raise my prices and charge my word by whatever amount, 10%, 20%, whatever I felt I needed to do. And still be sustained and not worry about, whether I lost a client or, who didn't come back and things of that nature. Because trust you, as you just discover your value for yourself and what you're worth, and you start to make those incremental increases for yourself, people are going to not be happy with that. People who are not, really supportive of you. Everybody has their own agenda. And some people are like, hey, you know what? Your prices went up. We understand. We love, doing business with you. Here's your money. Then there's going to be those people that are going to contact you and try to, explain themselves into their own price bracket. But I promise you, stand your ground and charge your worth. So that's my little story and how I, began to, seek this knowledge and get more information on finding the value for my own business and being faced with a critical illness, having surgery, being off work for 90 days. That really made me open my eyes, view things in a different light. So that's what I want to share with you guys. So let's go into your profit zone. Let's go into your profit zone. So I'm going to go back to screen share and share the slide. Okay. Next slide. So before we go into the slide, I just want to share some affirmations with you. One of the things I added to the book recently was a host of affirmations. And the first affirmation, if you're watching this, you can repeat, you can write this down, use these affirmations. I use these things in my business because, you just have to have, sometimes you have to have something to hold on to and something to affirm, whether it's morning, afternoon, daily, or whenever, but you just have to reaffirm and remind yourself of who you are. So I am thankful and grateful for my gifts and talents in my industry. My hands heal their souls and my passions touch the lives of many. The next one, I am not for sale, but my services are. Remember, they're not buying you, they're buying your services. And the buck stops at the service. They don't get to take you home with them, but they're only paying for your services. Some people are under misconception that they're buying you, and we are not for sale. Okay, let's talk about the profit zone. The profit zone is the portion of the book that I added. I added about 5 more chapters, all based around this. And I've been teaching on this and sharing from this. The profit zone is when you know what your bottom line is. And I just had you guys do your rate per hour. And if you came up with a rate per hour and your rate per hour was only $20 an hour, and you multiply 20 times, let's say you're working 40 hours a week, that's $800 a week. 800 times 4 is 3,200. And it's 3,200. Does it meet your bottom line? And if it doesn't meet your bottom line, then this is where you need to really break down and do some homework and find out what your profit zone is. And when I talk about your profit zone, I'm not talking about, you have your bills mapped out from week to week, or, your bills just to get by. But I'm talking about expenses, your lifestyle expenses, your desired lifestyle expenses, your retirement, savings for investment, paying off debt, all those type of things is what I talk about. So most people come to work and they don't even have a budget. They don't even have a budget. There are some that do. I'm not saying everyone does that, but there was a season in my career when I was young. I started doing hair when I was 18. So I made a lot of money at an early age real fast. And I had enough, I had more money than I had budget. So I never really, counted my nickels and dimes. I just knew I could always make money, especially when you're young and you come into the industry and it's booming. I knew I could come home with, pockets full of money. And, this was back in the early 90s when I first started doing hair, and I didn't have to budget. If I knew what I knew now, I would have been budgeting, and I would have been breaking that money up and putting it away for emergency, for retirement, and things of that nature. But you live and you learn. So that's why this is one of my passions, is to share with others that are new and up and coming. So, they're going to make a lot of money in the first 10, 15 years of your career. You're going to make the most money as a young, fresh stylist, barber, makeup artist, whatever. Put that money up, plan that money, use that money wisely. If you use that money wisely, when you get further in your career, you'll have more options. Not that you won't want to work behind the chair, but if you don't want to work behind the chair, you'll have more options. So we need to focus on our budget, our bills, paying off debt, emergency, especially saving for retirement. I met someone this morning that is my age, and they've done 20 something years on their job and they're retired. Now they're into their second career, getting ready to do another 15, 20 years. So they plan very well for their retirement. And some of us have families that we need to take care of. It's not just us. So we have to plan for all of those things here, but we also have to plan for these things right here. And that is for, whether it's our kids or we have family members that we take care of or that we want to help take care of. So this is why you need to make sure that you are in the profit zone. So let's go back a slide or two and talk about the profit zone. So I did this exercise with a couple of coworkers of mine, and we did her rate per hour, and we discovered that her rate per hour was around about $30 an hour. Okay, $30 an hour. And was the $30 an hour serving her bottom line? So when we went back and we actually started to, discover what is her bottom line, and we did her budget, not in terms of just the bill she had, but once she got the bill she had and she wrote it out, it came to like about $6,000 a month was what she needed to break even. See, $30 an hour times 40 was giving her $1,200 a week. Times 4 weeks is only giving her $4,800 a month, and she needed $6,000 to break even. Okay, we're already in the deficit. So 48 minus 6,000 is $1,200. So she's already $1,200 short every month when she goes to work, which is why she has a part-time job. As a great stylist, she does great work, but her bottom line was not being met. So 6,000 is what she needed to break even. That's still not her profit zone. Because what I had her do was multiply 6,000 times 3. We live in California. If you live somewhere in the back east or south, I'll say 2. I'll still challenge you to multiply your bottom line. Her bottom line is 6,000. Multiply times 3, which now became 18,000. Okay? When I shared this with her, this blew her mind. So now her profit zone is 18,000. Because at 6,000 she breaks even. But she's already not even making the 6,000. So what do we need to get her to 18,000 a month so that she can break even? She has room for shit happens, because you can have a budget and every month there's something that comes out of the woodworks that you are not expecting. And excuse my language, but I'm just being honest, shit happens. Okay? So she needs to double that 6,000, which is 12. But because of where we live at in expensive California, Los Angeles, California, triple it. Aim high. Aim for 18,000 a month. And if you fall at 12,000 a month, you're still past your bottom line. You're in your profit zone. So for her to be in her profit zone, she needs to be between 12,000 and 18,000 a month. And you're probably saying that's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But for the things that she had on her list that she wanted to do that would finance her living expenses, her lifestyle, and so that she could have money to invest into retirement and for emergencies and to pay off debt and to take care of her family. To be in the profit zone, she needs to be between $12,000 and $18,000 a month. So we did the math on 18,000. So we take 18,000 a month, 18,000, and divide it by 4 weeks. She needs to be doing $4,500 a week. And let's just do the math on 12,000 divided by 4. She needs to be doing $3,000 to $4,500 a week. $3,000 to $4,500 a week will put her in her profit zone every single week. That means her bottom line, which is the 6,000, is covered. But she also has room to breathe. She also has room to take care of her other, personal things that she needs to take care of. She has room for mistakes. She has room to splurge a little bit if she wants to. She has room to live the lifestyle she wants to live if she lives within that budget. And I'm not saying live within maxing out the 18,000. Stick to her bottom line of 6. And if she's maximizing that 18,000, she can now save a third of her income if she chooses to. A fourth to a third of her income she can save and start to invest. See, that's where we want to get. We want to get into the realm where we have more than enough so that we can start to invest and put our money to work. See, what sense of making all this money that we talk about, charge your worth and all that stuff, and we don't put the money to work so that when we do get tired, we do get arthritis, things don't work right, or there's emergencies that come along, we don't have another stream of income other than the chair. And so then we become a slave, we become married to the chair. It won't let us go and we won't let it go because all of the money we've made for 10, 15 years, we didn't put that money to work, or we didn't make enough money to put to work. So her profit zone, getting her in her profit zone for her is between $3,000 and $4,500 a week, which will put her between $12,000 and $18,000 a month. Now you may be saying that's a lot of money. It's what it's going to cost for her to be profitable. And you have to decide, do you want to go to work and be profitable, or do you want to go to work and just get by? And we all have a choice. The choice is ours. But getting information, getting knowledge is going to determine what you do, or what you decide to do. So here's an example of, for someone making $100,000 a year, which in California is not a lot of money. $350 a day, 5 days a week. $250,000 a year, it's $1,000 a day, 5 days a week. The profit zone allows you to start going to work with your number in mind. See, once you know you need $3,000 a week, then you divide that by, or you're going to work 5 days a week, then you know your number is $600 a day. 5 days a week, $600 a day. And so now you go to work with your new bottom line is $600. That's her magic number, is to go to work and plan her work to be at $600 a day. If her rate is $30 an hour, how many hours is she going to have to work a day to make $30? I'm sorry, to make $600. She's going to have to work 20 hours a day to make $600 at $30 an hour. Not going to happen. But if she takes 600 and divide it by 8, now her new rate per hour is $75. So she knows she needs $600 a day. Now she knows she needs $75 an hour. Minimum 8 hours a day. Minimum $75 an hour. Now she's a hair extension expert. But she was only making $30 an hour because her weaves were only $150. If she brought her weaves back here at 350 where they're supposed to be, could she make her $75 an hour? Heck yeah. Heck yeah, she can make her $75 an hour. Because that's what she specializes in anyways. So it's all about deciding what, once she got that number, she can never get that number out of her head. If she chooses to continue to make $30 an hour, it won't be because she doesn't know better. She now knows better. It's just a choice. If she chooses to go take a part-time job and keep working a part-time job, it's by choice. But once you know your numbers and know what your bottom line is, then now you have to make a decision. How am I going to convert my business? How am I going to change my business? How am I going to communicate that to, I'm going from $30 an hour to $75 an hour? You don't necessarily just make a huge jump, because if you have that big of price difference in your old bottom line versus your new bottom line, then you're going to have to make some subtle changes to move in that direction. That's something that we talk about at a later date. Let's see, who do we have on? If we don't have Q&A, I'm going to keep right on moving. Let me go back to my slide. Let's see. Bear with me 1 second. Got all these windows popping up. Okay, from current slide. So this is normally where I could do some Q&A, but this is recorded. So you can always email me if you have a question. So let's go into some more affirmations, because that was a lot of information just now, going from $30 an hour to $75 an hour, and I know for some people that's overwhelming, but when you do your numbers and your number is not what you want it to be, that's overwhelming also. So what do you do? So here's the affirmations. My talent creates increase in my life and affords me to bless others. Okay. My talent creates increase in my life and affords me to bless others. Next one is I attract my ideal client that values my service and value their personal appearance. You only want to go after clients, or you want to start marketing yourself to clients who value your service, not someone who's negotiating with you all the time. If they're negotiating with you, they don't value the service. They're hustling. Okay. And then second, are they somebody who's really about their personal appearance? Because if they're not about their personal appearance, it's not a priority to them. So when they, when finances get tight, you're the first thing on the list to go off the budget. So when you start to see clients that value your service and value their personal appearance, then that's going to become more of your target client. Okay, I just got a text from the young lady I said is reading my book. My coworker just got the book, and she's griping and sending me all these little I'm not going to repeat everything she's saying, but she's really having some aha moments, and that is the whole purpose of this book. I hope in the little session that we just had that or when you do your bottom line numbers and realize what it is that you need, your new bottom line, and it's $18,000 or it's $20,000 or it's $25,000 or whatever. If it is, if your bottom line is $2,000, I was coaching a young lady and she had her bottom line at $3,000, and that was her break even. See, we were taught that your budget is your break even. No, we're entrepreneurs. We don't break even. We are here to make profits. With people with regular 9-to-5s, they're in the break even. They get jobs based on the hourly rate. Oh, my bills are $2,000 a month. If I can just get a job making $3,000 a month, I'm good. Entrepreneurs don't think like that. The sky is the limit. Don't set income limits on yourself. Yes, live within a certain budget, but don't set income limits on yourself based on your budget, based on your living expenses. Leave room for abundance. Leave room so that you have overflow, so that you can give to charity, so that you can help other people. Leave room for that. Budget for that. Day to day, week to week. Budget big, and aim even higher. So that way, like I said, if my friend missed the 18,000 and she landed at 12,000 one month and 15,000 the next, Well, heck, her bottom line is 6. So she stays in the profit zone. But if she aims for 6 and she's only hitting 48 and 5 and 55 and 59.99 every month, she's never making the mark, because she's already set the pace for, I need to make 6,000 a month. No, you need to make 12 to 18,000 a month. That's the bottom line, is to get over the budget line and get into the profit zone. It's kind of like playing football. That's why I named it the profit zone. I was watching football and I said, and when they're playing football on Sundays, their goal is to get into the end zone. Our goal is to get into the profit zone. Get the ball right through the 2, whatever that thing is, the goal. Get the ball between there. When she can get the ball between 12,000 and 18,000, she's in the profit zone. Each time she's not getting the ball past 12,000, she's now falling, short, out of bounds. And right now she's out of bounds, and it was on paper. She was so blown back, once we had it on paper, and one of the challenges she was dealing with was communicating that to her mate, her significant other, because they're not an entrepreneur, so they want her to have a job as a backup. And we did the numbers, how if she just get her niche service, that weaving ticket together, and stick to that weaving ticket, she's in her profit zone. Okay, so I'm a good steward with my increase. I am a good steward with my increase. Please don't have ask and pray for God to bless you, and you do all this hard work to get in the profit zone, and you still end up, not doing, the proper things, not saving, not investing, not paying your bills. Because God blesses us. He gives us increase to, to finance ourselves, to be a help to others, but we have to do good by the money. Yes, sometimes people make mistakes and spend a little too much, but that's the whole reason for the profit zone, so that you have more than enough. So you can have room for, splurges here and there, but be a good steward with your finances. Okay. So what's your worth? We talk about making this money and adding money to the table. What is your worth? And that's what I had a stylist call me Saturday night. I need to talk to you. Our accountant said we need to go up on our prices. Our prices are too low. My question is, how much money do you need? What's your profit zone? You just don't go up on your prices to go up on your prices. Well, I'm giving myself a raise because the price of gas went up. Clients don't want to hear that. When you communicate to your clients that there's been an increase in prices, or in order for me to remain profitable, meaning in order for you to keep your doors open, this is what your new price is going to be. Now, it's not just what you're worth, but what value do you bring to the table? Are you educated? Are you constantly educated? I'm not saying, oh, you went to a class 2 years ago. There's something new going on in this industry all the time. And I'm not saying you have to do what's new, but you should know what's going on in the industry. I don't know how many stylists call me or run into me and said, my client sent them my video for Brazilian keratin treatments, and they want to get it done, but I don't know nothing about it, and they keep sending me your video. And I explained to her, because your clients are online Googling, I'm online and positioned to be found. You haven't even went to the class, and I'm not saying you have to do Brazilian keratin treatments, but if you've never even went to the class, you don't have a leg to stand on to say why you would or would not do it. So because you haven't positioned yourself as knowledgeable, they're bringing you my video, which they found online, which shows them that I'm knowledgeable about it. And it doesn't make you look like you know what you're talking about. And so since you can't say, well, you know what, I took the class and I decided I'm not going to do those treatments because of XYZ. Not, girl, I heard this and I heard that, and on the news they said this, on the news they said that. That doesn't mean anything. Clients watch the news, and clients Google, clients do their research. So if you want to, that's a whole nother arena. I could go into that. But how much training are you getting? What's your professional image? How do you present yourself to your client? Because if you look like, and we're all guilty of it from time to time. And I personally I'm very comfortable in lounge wear or gym clothes. And I have to make a conscious effort from time to time to switch that up. Because you're going to attract those type of people that are comfortable, who may not want to spend more money on services because their image is not a professional. And if your image is not a professional, then they're comfortable with you. And then they're comfortable asking for discounts because you got on your house shoes anyways. Or you got on your pajama pants anyways. So what sets you apart from the average chick or the average guy, Joe Blow cutting hair? Everybody got a license. Everybody put on an apron. They look the part. But what sets you apart from the next person? Does your shop look like this? Who wants to get their hair done in there? People who don't care about their image, or people who don't care about where they sit or where they walk. When I was wearing a clipper cut, I stopped into a barber shop. And when the guy opened the cape and I saw 50,000 little black hairs stuck in the cape, and I'm like, nah, bro, you can't put that on me. That's nasty. You can just give me a towel. I'd rather have my hair on me than you put a cape on me with 50,000 hairs in it of somebody else's. No, hair carries germs. So your salons, I mean, they don't have to be luxurious and chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, but they got to be kept clean. You got to, sweep up the hair, shine the chrome on your chairs, put some white paint on the walls. There's things you can do to increase the value and the appearance of your business. Because clients that value their money and their time, they pay attention to small things like that. Clients who don't, who will overlook all that stuff, they're coming for the price. They're coming for the price. Okay? And like I mentioned, education is so important. So much education. But I'm going to share another thing. Someone said, well, why do you need to know your rate per hour when we're entrepreneurs? That shouldn't matter. Your rate per hour should matter, because if you're a slow stylist, let me stop sharing the screen for a minute. If you're a slow stylist, go back. Okay, here we go. If you're a slow stylist and you're doing a press and curl and it takes you 4 hours and your press and curl is $60, let's just do the math real quick. I always keep my calculator with me. I sleep with this thing. So it takes you 4 hours, with 4 times 60 is 240. 60 divided by 240 equals 0.25 times 60. Your rate per hour is $15 an hour for a thermal service. And I've seen stylists take 4 hours to do a thermal service. What they doing, I don't know. I really don't know. But my point is, if someone is willing to sit in your chair for 4 hours and get a service that they can go somewhere else and get it done in an hour and a half, 2 hours, and pay the same price, that person truly doesn't even value your time, because they will sit in your chair for 4 hours. They're probably not referring you any clients. And if it's taking you 4 hours, you can only do about 2 to 3 clients a day. And they just enjoy the fact that, your prices are average or cheap. I know people who only charge $40, $45. If a client only enjoys your cheap pricing and doesn't have any demands of the environment being better, the quality of the service being better, then that client is definitely not the client for you. They're comfortable in and not having any aspirations for their own time, and they're comfortable paying you that cheap price where they're not even gonna even say, you know what, I really like you and I really like the work you do, but can you speed it up a little bit? You know, and I've worked with a lot of stylists, and I've seen customers come and go. And I work with an older cat, Rob. I'll tell you this quick story, Rob. And Rob used to always come over. We, you know, everybody's working. It's a booth rental environment, so everybody's working. And Rob would come over if you're doing the little tweezer curls, and you know, you got the little pattern going. Everything's all neat and detailed and clean. And you know, I finished curling somebody's hair, and Rob would come over and he go, girl, we took all that time to put all them curls. He said, you know me. His motto was 60 minutes. If he couldn't do it in 60 minutes, it wasn't getting done. And nobody could sit in his chair past 60 minutes. And he would admit, you guys are better than me. He was like, but my chair stays full because I'm faster. And he knew his target client wanted to get in and out. Not saying he was offering a less than service, but he had mastered doing whatever it is he did in 60 minutes. Now, could I do a better hairstyle? Of course I could. But what Rob was beating me at was doing better business. He was doing better business. He was he had a goal per day. He needed to do X amount of clients per day so that he made his quota. And that's how he ran his business. Now, I'm not saying neglect your work so that you can get people in and out. But if you are slow, and you know if you're slow, you need to step it up. You need to start timing yourself. You need to make sure you have no distractions. Turn off the phone. Don't answer no text messages. Don't take no phone calls. You can't do that. These clients want to get in and out, and they will pay you more to get in and out than they will pay you to sit in your chair all day. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to go back to the slideshow. Education is key. It's super, super key. And in being in the profit zone, having value for your services. See, you have to create value. When clients know you're taking educational classes, you're investing in yourself, they know you're bringing your very best to the table, and they get excited about that. But when you don't never go to a class, you don't know what's going on. I remember the first time I worked with a stylist who had been doing hair 30-something years. This was probably about 15 years ago. And she had never seen a thermal flat iron. She only had seen curling irons. And so she was getting younger clients that were asking to get flat ironed. And yeah, it's just a tool. And she was from the old school, so she knew how to take her curling iron and smooth the hair out. But this flat iron was the end thing. And I'm not talking about the ceramics one. This was the one that goes in the stove. And so she just did not want to budge to get a flat iron because these girls were asking for flat iron, and then I'm the young person in the salon using the flat iron. Then she started borrowing my flat iron because that's what they wanted. So, I mean, she never took a class. She grasped on, but this is how important it is to be knowledgeable of what's going on, the new techniques, the new services, and things of that nature, so that you can stay abreast of what's going on. So, with that being said, for those who want to go to the next level in their training, what I'm offering, if you're on this training today, the new copy of my book is out with the additional 5 chapters. And in those additional 5 chapters, I've added niche services, identifying your ideal client, so many other things that's just going to help you grow your business. And if you order this book today, or within the next, I'm going to give you 48 hours to make that decision. But if you order this book, it's only $19.99. I'm going to give you 2 for 1. 2 for 1. My motto is don't grow alone. You order a book for yourself, you're going to get an extra one that you're going to be able to give to someone else, to bless them and, help them open their mind and get acclimated to, this whole mantra of charge your worth. My coworker still texting me as she reads through the book. She's having she's a little bitter right now because she's going through some, struggles in her business, and she just needs to set some new ground rules for her business and for herself for how she wants to do business with people. And then this bitterness she's going through will actually leave, and she'll have a solution to her problem. But what's happening right now is she's having a bunch of aha moments. But for those of you who are like, you know what, I'm kind of getting this. I want to learn more. I want to play with you on another level, and I'm ready to give myself a raise. You know what? My bottom line, I've done my math. It does not serve. I come up short every single month. And be honest. You don't have to share with anyone. Be honest with yourself. If you come up short every single month, the only person that's going to change that is you. Okay? Your clients are not going to come in. They're not going to rally together and have a secret meeting and come in and say, guess what? We've decided to give you a raise. If you don't know how to increase your prices, if you don't know how to structure your price service menu around your bottom line, not around what I've checked 10 shops in the neighborhood to see what they're charging. And I think we're on the right track, because guess what? When you follow the masses, sometimes the M becomes silent. Just because all the other 10 shops in your area is charging $50 for a service, don't mean that they're profitable. So are you going to follow the other 10 salons that are unprofitable? Or are you going to set your own pace and run your own race for yourself and get your bottom line covered, to where those 10 shops are going to know what are they doing different, because their bottom line is being covered. See, people won't tell you that their bottom line is not being covered. We're in the beauty industry. It's very superficial at times. And social media makes everybody look like a star. But at the end of the day, is your bottom line being met? Are you breaking even? Or are you breaking into the profit zone? And if you're not, and you need to know how to get into the profit zone, I'm having an extended advanced training with a smaller group of people, a private training on February 1st. It's going to be $99. And we're actually going to go through for about 3 hours. It's going to be a 3-hour training. And we're going to have you break down your own numbers. You're going to come to the table with your service menu. You're going to come to the table with, I'm going to have some homework for you to do. So you're going to come to the table with your numbers that you don't have to share with anybody, but you need to be prepared to do this work so that you can get your numbers together, get your bottom line, your profit zone number, your profit lane. Because some of us are in lanes or doing service and things that aren't our niche. When I ask stylists, what's your top service? Well, I do everything. No, I want to know what's your top service. What is the service that you're booked for 80% of the time? Well, I do this, but I also do this, and I do this, and I do this, and this. When we go through your service menu, there's only about 5 things on your menu that's going to put you in the profit zone. See, back in the 80s and 90s, you walked into a salon and there was 50,000 things on the service menu, like Cheesecake Factory. That's what I hate about the Cheesecake Factory and Grand Lux. The menu is too doggone big. It takes me like 20 minutes to read before I decide what I'm eating. And I may eat the same thing every time, but I just feel compelled to read the whole thing. I don't know, maybe it's because that's the little geek side of me, but it's just too many options. And I'd rather just have a few options to choose from. Do I want beef, chicken, steak, or fish? Versus beef with this, beef with that, beef with, this is the same old thing. So sometimes we have to, and I've actually went through my business and redefined it last year. My menu is down to about 8 things now. My service menu. Oh, Tammy, I see you don't have this on your menu anymore. No, we don't service that anymore. We're sticking with our niche. As long as I stick with my niche, I know my hourly rate is going to be the same or more. My menu is built around my niche. Everything else is pure profit because they're add-on services. Can I weave? Yes. Do I want to weave? No. It doesn't meet my rate per hour. I can personally do a silk out, deep conditioner, and a haircut in less time than it takes somebody to do. I can do 3 in less time it takes for somebody to do 1 week. And for me, that's $150 a pop. So that's $300, $450 for somebody's doing a weave for $350. Not saying that the weave doesn't put somebody else in their profit lane, but for me, weaving is not my niche. I know what my niche is. My niche is hair care. Hair care is my niche. You got to find out what your niche is, what your profit lane is, and you got to redevelop your price around that. And I've done that. When a stylist called me, and she's not far from me, and she told me, I checked everybody in the area and they're $55. And so if we go up on our prices, what is going to happen? I said, I'm $80. And I have people paying it. See, her account told her she needs a price increase, but she didn't tell her what she needed to increase it to and why. What's her profit zone? Because sometimes you need to take some things off the menu, increase this price, or bundle some things together so that you're getting your number. It's a numbers game. We have the price list broken down into so many little, what you call it, a la carte things. Bundle that stuff together where it's not optional. That's how you build a ticket. I used to work at McDonald's when I was in high school, and they taught us to always upsell. If they ordered a Big Mac, ask them do they want fries. If they ordered a Big Mac and fries, ask them do they want a soda. If they ordered Big Mac fries and a soda, ask them do they want an apple pie. If they ordered Big Mac fries and soda, apple pie, ask them do they want some cookies. It doesn't hurt to ask, but it doesn't even hurt if just be strategic and build your service menu so that whatever they pick, you're in the profit zone. And it's designed that way for you to be profitable. How amazing would it be to walk into work knowing that you're booked and you're going to hit your numbers that day? And if you're not booked, then you know what you need to get on social media and market. You know, I see people marketing on social media. Oh, I got openings. Openings for what? That's not attractive. What are you marketing for? I have an opening for a silk out. I have an opening for a caricature. I have an opening for a color. Because I know what that color service is going to get me if I have a space in my day. See, it becomes a number game. Instead of coming to work late and, rushing to get started with your client, you get to work early and you prepare. You look at your appointment book. You should look at your appointment book at the beginning of the week and see where the spaces are, if you have spaces. And if you have spaces, you start marketing the beginning of the week to fill those spaces. Don't even wait till the day of. The day of, you should try to fill cancellations. But in the beginning of the week, if you already know Thursday is wide open and you're booked Wednesday and Friday and Saturday, then you need to get to work Tuesday and Wednesday filling Thursday up. Not wait till Thursday and say, I ain't got nobody. Because let's be honest, we're not in the age of walk-in service. And I personally don't care for walk-ins. I like people to book their appointment because I like to stick to schedule. That's another thing. That's my other niche, is I'm true to my schedule. I will get rid of you if you are not time-wise, because that's what clients know me for. And if they have an 8 o'clock appointment, they're going to get in my chair by 8, no later than 8:15. And they know they can get in and out at a specific time. When you're taking walk-ins, that means you're not booked and you're not building the business. You're open, but you're not building the business. And that may work great for some barbershops, but you can charge more when the person knows that they have a guaranteed spot. Because I wouldn't want to be sitting around waiting 3 hours to get a haircut. A $10 haircut, somebody is sitting and wait for. A $50 haircut, nobody's waiting for that. They want an appointment. That customer wants an appointment. He doesn't want to wait to give you $50. Somebody will wait to give you $8 and $10, but they're not waiting to give you $50. They want to do business. They're a professional. They want to get in and out. And then we talk about scripts. We have you write your scripts. How do you communicate that to your client? How do you write your new price list? And it's say effective March 1st. These are our prices. And for some of you, that may be a huge, huge jump from $30 to $75 an hour, if that's your profit zone. For some people, it's 30 going to 40. That's not a big jump. Or 30 going to 50, that's not a big jump. But when you increase the value, the service price, you must increase the value. So if you're going from 30 to 75, you also must consider the added value. So I'll give you ways to add value to make your service stand out. What is the client paying for? They're not paying for the service, they're paying for the total experience. Where I work at, there's a nail salon downstairs. They don't do the best nails. They give a really great experience. And some people, when they purchase personal services, massages, haircuts, pedicures, manicures, beauty, any type of beauty experience, they're going not just for the service, but sometimes the ambience of the place. That's their hour of solitude. That's their hour to relax. That's their hour to just to feel pampered. And your environment should offer that value, that experience. Like I said, it's not the best nail shop in town. It's one of the cleaner ones. And the experience, I'll never forget the way it smells in there. It smells the same every time I go in there. And that smell is very relaxing to me. And I'll pay for that. That total average ticket is $100 for nails and manicure and pedicure. But I can go across the street and it's $35, but there's no ambiance. It doesn't smell good when I walk in there. It smells okay, but it doesn't. I don't remember that smell. That smell doesn't go home with me. So these are the things that we go over in the private training. So you also get the book when you sign up for this training. 3 hours on February 1st, start in the morning. At 9 o'clock, Pacific Standard Time. So that's noon on the East Coast. So you will leave that training with everything you need to communicate your new numbers and your new price menu with your new niche services or your redefined services. So some of you just need some tweaking, and some of you need a whole lot of help. Some of you need to throw the whole menu away, because it does not serve your bottom line. You're just doing what you watch somebody else do, and that person didn't tell you that they were failing. A lot of hairstylists like to, wear their success, and we judge success by what we see, and not by what we don't see behind the scenes. Just because the other 10 salons are charging $50 doesn't mean that they're successful doing it. They're just failing, and everybody is following the leader, and they're failing. And then you wonder why so many people leave this industry for a job, because if they're charging $50 and it takes them two hours or more to do the service, they could have a job, a guaranteed job, with some benefits and all the other things that people leave and go for. Or they could buckle down and design their business, design their service menu, create their niche service, add value, go take a class. You feel better about yourself. Knowledge is power. It creates confidence. Could you imagine trying to explain to your client about a service that you never went to take a class on, but you have it on your service menu? I've done that when I was younger. I was making my menu, I was copying somebody else's. But I didn't have the experience. So I was way out of line. And it didn't feel good. It felt very uncomfortable. Now, everything on my service menu, I've been trained on. And I continue to take training. So when my clients come in and ask, or someone calls for a consultation, I'm giving them a mini class. And because I've invested in myself, I'm able to, it shows when I'm speaking on the surface and the active ingredients and what products I'm using and what they do. Or when a client asks about a product that she's seen online. I can, and even if I don't know that product, I can say, I don't know about that product, but this is what I do use. See, we're in a war, and the internet is not taking our clients. It's us not being on the internet and us not having knowledge. So the clients are going to the internet getting knowledge, good and bad. And because all we do is stand behind the chair and turn from left to right, and we don't go no further, we don't invest no more into our business, we don't know what's going on in the world. And the clients do, because they're Googling, their friends are Googling, their coworkers are Googling and sharing with them the latest, best, next stylist product, etc. That's a whole other class. Okay, so that's what February 1st is about. It's only $99. You get the book, and we get 3 hours of work. Work. Calculators, numbers, and work. And we break it all down, and we get you to your profit zone, okay? Then there's, for those who want to take it to one more higher level, I'm going to do a second training for those who want to go to the next level on February 8th. And that's unlocking 5 extra streams of income in your business. You may realize your profit zone is $150 an hour. I talked to a lady, I coached a lady a couple weeks in the summer. Her profit zone was $187 an hour to live the lifestyle she wanted to live. And you're probably saying $187 an hour? Yes, $187 an hour. Well, there wasn't enough hours in the day for her to earn that, even as a high luxury ticket. But what we did find was she had some other streams of income in her salon that would compensate for that $187 an hour. And that's something that we discuss in the advanced training after we go through. So if you go for C and you do the advanced training, you'll be in the first training, then you'll come back for the second training on the 8th. And we'll unlock 5 streams of income in your salon, in your chair. If you're not a salon owner, you have a chair. In your chair, there's 5 extra ways that you can make money without leaving the chair. And that's only 10 spots available for that. Because we're doing kind of personal work, so I can only work with 10 people at a time. And then as a bonus, you get a private hour after the class, after we've done all that work. So that's about 3 hours the first class, 3 hours the second class, and another hour private one-on-one to have a clarity session to help you make sense of it all, if you don't have to discuss it within the group once you've mapped everything out. And that's $250, but includes both classes and the book. And it's for someone who really wants to maximize on their efforts behind the chair. You can make $187 an hour, $200 an hour, $250 an hour. You can make $500 an hour in the salon if you knew the streams of income that we ignore daily. Excuse me. So those are your options. If you want to just grab the book, you can go over to www.chargeyourworth.com. And if you want to up level to B, which is the private group on February 1st, $99, you can do that at the same website. Or if you want to take it to the next level and get part 2 of that training, as well as a private clarity session, then you can also purchase that at www.chargeyourworth.com. Let's see where we are at. Go back to here. Okay, so with that being said, that completes our training. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me at tammygolden@hotmail.com, TammyGolden@hotmail.com. If you want a little bit more information, or you have any questions about the training, the class, how you can bring the training to a class or a salon or a show near you, If you are interested in sharing the information that you find in the book, we have a reseller's option on chargeyourworth.com. You can see the different packages for the book. Based on how many books you purchase, you're able to actually resell them and help me spread the message and create profit for yourself by spreading the message of Charge Your Worth. But if you don't have any more, if there are no more questions, and we had a viewer pop it on and off. I don't know if they were able to get through or not. But however, you can email me, contact me. You can follow me on Instagram. Let me go back to my slideshow. I had all this stuff mapped out. I like to freestyle, but I've learned I have to follow the format a little bit. Okay, so there we go. So if you want to get in contact with me, you can do so at thebeautyceo.com. You can purchase the book or the trainings at chargeyourworth.com. And you can follow me on Facebook at Tammy Golden, Instagram at The Beauty CEO, Periscope at Miss Tammy Golden, also on Twitter at Miss Tammy Golden. And on YouTube, you can follow my page. And this training will be loaded to the YouTube channel because it's recorded at Miss Tammy Golden. All right, you guys, thank you very, very much.